Her 80-year-old grandmother and 82-year-old, 84-year-old grandmother did not get it. Her mama and mommy.
Mommy is not so good. Her.
I tried calling them, they did not answer, but then I got told you that I didn't have time to call. That's not an excuse. I really didn't have time to call them.
Hare Krishna, Bua. Hare Krishna, Auntie.
Hare Krishna, Vijay.
Come sit. Come sit.
ठीक है
Cookies.
कहाँ से
Carter's.
No.
You're sitting here?
Gee, you do dear life. अयो भैया बाकी हालू का लाइट अपन दो लाइट चल रहा था I have to take out my kapla for tomorrow also. Take out my kapla also for tomorrow. I'll let the seat for you. Okay, close the door.
Good luck.
Thank you.
You'll be fine, Savani, okay? Don't doubt yourself.
2 minutes, no one's here.
How's that stupid girl, Savani?
Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone. It's 7:30. So our singer is not here yet. But we'll go ahead and get started. Can I request a someone to be my responder?
Yes, I can.
Oh, well, thank you, Auntie. Okay. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine.
Namo Vishnupaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedante Swamin Iti Namine.
Namaste Saraswati Devim Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastacha Dishatanine.
Namaste Saraswati Devim Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Pashchatas Desatarine.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Radha Natavara Radha Natavara Radhe.
Jaya Radha Natvar Radha Natvar Radhe.
Jaya Radha Natavara Radha Natavara Radhe.
Jaya Radha Natvar Radha Natvar Radhe.
Jaya Radha Natavara Radha Natavara Radhe.
Jaya Radha Natvar Radha Natvar Radhe.
Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai.
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 Jaya Jagat Guru Shila Prabhupada Jaya Jagat Guru Shila Prabhupada.
Jaya Jagat Guru Sila Prabhu Pada Jaya Jagat Guru Sila Prabhu Pada.
Jaya Patita Pavana Shila Prabhupada Jaya Patita Pavana Shila Prabhupada.
Jaya Patita Paman Sila Prabhu Pada Jaya Patita Paman Sila Prabhu Pada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Auntie.
Hare Krishna.
So your responsibilities are not over for the evening because you are also singing
Yes.
Yashomati Nandan.
Yeah.
So
Can you follow me?
Nope, sure can't. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank
absolutely.
you. जशोमती नंदन ब्रज बर नागर गोकुल रंजन काना
Yashomati Nandana Brajabaranagara Gokula Ranjana Kana.
जशोमती नंदन ब्रज बर नागर गोकुल रंजन काना
Yashomati Nandana Brajabaranagara Gokula Ranjana Kana.
गोपी परन धन मदन मनोहर कालिय दमन विधान
Kaniyadamana
गोपी
Gopi
परन
Parasranadana Madana Manohara Kaliyadamana Vidana.
गोपी परन धन मदन मनोहर कालिय दमन विधान
Gopi Paranadana Madana Manohara Kaliyadamana Vidana.
आमला हरि नाम मिय विलासा
Amalari Nama Miya Vilasa.
आमला हरि नाम मिय विलासा
Amalahari Nama Miya Vilasa.
विपिन पुरंदर नवीन नगर वर बंसी बदन सुवासा
Dipina Purandara Navina Nagarabara Hamsi Vadana Suvasa.
विपिन पुरंदर नवीन नगर वर बंसी बदन सुवासा
Vipina Purandara Navina Nagaravara Vamsi Vadana Suvasa.
ब्रज जन पालन सुर कुल नाशन नंद गोधन रखवाला
Braja Jana Palana Surakula Nasana Tanda Godana Rakoala.
ब्रज जन पालन सुर कुल नाशन नंद गोधन रखवाला
Braja Jana Palana Surakula Nasana Nanda Godana Rakoala.
गोविंद माधव नवनीत तस्कर सुंदर नंद गोपाला
Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Sundarananda Gopala.
गोविंद माधव नवनीत तस्कर सुंदर नंद गोपाला
Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Sundarananda Gopala.
जमुना तट पर गोपी बसन हर रास रसिक कृप माया
Yamuna Tatachara Gopi Basanara Rasa Rasika Kripa Maya.
जमुना तट पर गोपी बसन हर रास रसिक कृप माया
Yamuna Tatachara Gopi Basanara Rasa Rasika Kripamaya.
Shri Radha Vallabha Vrindavan Natvar Bhakti Vinodayashaya.
Shri Radha Vallabha Vrindavana Natavara Bhakti Vinodashraya.
Shri Radha Vallabha Vrindavan Natvar Bhakti Vinodayashaya.
Shri Radha Vallabha Vrindavana Natavara Bhakti Vinodashraya.
Jashamati Nandana Braja Bharanagar Gokula Ranjana Kana.
Mati Nandana Vrajabara Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Translation. कृष्ण मैया यशोदा के पुत्र हैं, ब्रजभूमि के दिव्य प्रेमी हैं, गोकुल वासियों को आकर्षित करने वाले कांधा हैं, गोपियों के प्राण धन हैं, मदन कामदेव का मन हरने वाले तथा कालिया नाग का दमन करने वाले हैं। कृष्ण के ये नाम गायन करने में अत्यधिक अमृतमय आनंद देने वाले हैं। कृष्ण ब्रज के 12 वनों के अधिपति हैं तथा उनके सौंदर्य में सदैव अति नवीनता रहती है। वे मुरली बजाते हैं तथा अति सुंदर वस्त्र पहनते हैं। कृष्ण ब्रजवासियों के रक्षक तथा संपूर्ण असुर वंश का नाश करने वाले हैं। कृष्ण नंद महाराज की गायों की रखवाली करने वाले तथा लक्ष्मीपति हैं, माखन चोर हैं तथा नंद महाराज के सुंदर गोपाल हैं। कृष्ण यमुना तट पर विचरने वाले तथा गोपियों का चीरहरण करने वाले हैं। कृष्ण को अपने भक्तों से प्रेमालाप करना अति रुचिकर है। कृष्ण कृपामय है, राधा रानी के प्रेमी हैं, वृंदावन में सबसे कुशल तक है तथा भक्ति विनोद के एकमात्र आश्रय हैं। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Auntie.
You're
So, Maharaj, Hare Krishna. Still muted, Maharaj.
Hello?
Yes, now we can hear you. Hare Krishna.
Can we share our screen?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Cool. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Now you can see our screen.
Yes, Maharaj, we can.
Okay. 1 second here. There we go. All the cold weather is gone and now I'm getting allergy. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So we're continuing with our work of consolidating all the different preaching programs we've done in this lifetime. And one topic, of course, was science and the Vedas. Another was interfaith dialogue. And now we're working on world classical literature. And the first presentation, we were presenting a few of the famous books in the world. Journey to the West, Imitation of Christ. What else we got? Hamlet, Quran. And then we presented Krishna, saying our opinion, the book Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, is the best of all the world classical literature. And then we were quoting from the very end of the Krishna book, where Prabhupada was talking about what is the book and what is the importance and what is the importance of hearing Krishna Katha, like that. It's very, very nice, presentation of what our idea is about the book, like that, by Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, just by reading, remembering, and telling others about this one book, Krishna, one is sure and guaranteed to be transferred to the spiritual world, which is ordinarily very difficult. And he says, following in the footsteps of Vyasadeva and Sukadeva Goswami, Narottam Das Thakur, we have presented this book, Krishna, for modern people to read. Okay. So then the second presentation we're working on here, we decided to go to the Ramayan. Yeah. Because next big festival is Ram Navami. And on Sunday, we're supposed to do a Sunday lecture for the temple in Houston. We're starting, for several Sundays before the festival, maybe a few weeks before. So we're starting, and then Guru Prasad Swami, Giriraj Maharaj will present each Sunday. So that'll be on. So we're working on it, trying to do something. Take some time to make these PowerPoint shows, to clarify our ideas, to put them in a way that people can understand. But then it has a result. People remember. It changes the heart. So we started looking at the Ramayana, and of course, because this is for Sankirtan and preaching to the university type people and people like that, we looked right away in the Britannica to see what the Encyclopedia Britannica says. And it says, Ramayana, Sanskrit, Rama's journey, shorter of the two great epic poems of India, the other being the Mahabharata, great epic of the Bharata dynasty. The Ramayana is composed in Sanskrit, probably not before 300 BC. Okay, it's interesting. By the poet Valmiki. And okay, so at least they say it was composed by Valmiki. And there, I wonder if we go on and read the article, if they say he's a legendary character or what. Okay. That would play, actually 300 BC, I think that would place it after Buddha. Amazing, even in terms of Western history and scholarship. By the poet Valmiki, and in its present form, consists of 24,000 couplets divided into 7 books. So that's nice as saying in its present form, you know. So we have to, this is what Sankirtan means. It means going out and meeting people who have different conceptions. And some of them want those misconceptions because they allow them to engage in demoniac activities of sense gratification, vanity, and so many things. So we just avoid them. You know. Some people are innocent, just carried away by bad association, bad arguments. But we have to be able then to reveal these bad arguments. Yeah. The monkey army had to fight with the Rakshasas to free Sita. So we have to fight with these demoniac ideas to free the Haladini Shakti in everyone's heart, the desire to serve. Okay, so this is Britannica. Then on the right-hand side here, we have Hanuman, who looks like he's not quite agreeing with this particular statement. It looks like he's somebody you don't want necessarily, irritate, disagreement. You know. But then on the left down here, we have science in the Vedas, dating process. And that was something we covered in our presentation on science in the Vedas, how they're dating things, how they're establishing there was no human civilization before this time or that time. And even if there was, it was primitive people, who were trying to figure out how to make something, make shovels out of bones or something. So we were talking about that we would say that we don't accept it because of the oral tradition, because of the parampara, which gives us knowledge, and also things we can apply. We can check it out. We can see if it's telling the truth. We can try out following the four principles, and we discover, oh, it is good. We can try chanting Hare Krishna, and we can see it does control the mind. There's so many things we can actually just directly experience. And then we can see the character of the people, the Acharya, the Guru, Prabhupada, who's presenting these things. And we can see, that he seems to be talking quite authoritatively and with simple, straightforward intelligence. He's not a fanatic. He's not hallucinating. And he's saying, this is coming parampara. I'm not giving you anything which I did not receive from my spiritual master. And my spiritual master says that's the basic principle upon which all previous spiritual masters have operated. So applying that, if you investigate Prabhupada, the first person in the link, then you can apply what is called the proof through induction, mathematical proof, logical proof. Given any statement, any equation, if it's true for one, if 2x plus x squared equals 17x square rooted so and so, and you put 1 in there and it works out, yeah, it's true. Okay. And also, given that if it's true for any number n, it will automatically be true for n plus 1. Everybody in this line talks this way. Then it's true. Okay, so we have a logical mathematical proof that this parampara system is valid. Well, we have to know Prabhupada, travel with him, see him night and day, everything else, how he's talking, how he's reacting. So from this, then we begin to get faith. This is coming down, and we see that the evidence coming from rational empiricism, from science, carbon dating, many things could be doubted like that. Okay, so this is the first point we're trying to make that is appearing. I think it's in Satya, in Treta Yuga. In Treta Yuga, Treta Yuga. And, the Kali Yuga is 4 million years long. That what it is? 108 times 432,000 years long. Then the Dwapara Yuga is 4,320,000. The Treta Yuga is going to be 2 times that. No, 1, 2, 3. Okay, twice as long and then 3 times as long. Okay, so it's going to be a long time to get us back there. Maybe 1 million years. Yeah. So it's a long time ago. And things were quite different then, but definitely not 300 years before Christ. Then if we go ahead and look right in the Bhagavatam, there's one verse which is very nice here. Maybe we can all repeat this. Abhishek Singh, please repeat. This is what Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.22. Naradeva tvam apanaha.
Naradevatam apana.
Naradeva tam apanaha.
Naradevatam apanaha.
Surya karya chikirshaya.
Surya karya chikishvaya.
Surya karya chikirshaya.
Surya karya chikishvaya.
Samudra nigahadini.
Samudra nigahadani.
Samudra nigrahadini.
Samudra nigrahadani.
Chakre viryani ataparam.
Chakre viryani ataparam.
Naradeva tvam apanaha.
Naradevatam apana.
Surya karya chikirshaya.
Surya karya chikirshaya.
Samudra nigahadani.
Samudra nigahadani.
Chakre viryani ataparam.
Chakre viryani ataparam.
Boliega.
Naradevatam apana.
Naradeva tvam apanaha.
Surya karya chikirshaya.
Sura karya chikirshaya.
Samudra nigrahadani.
Samudra nigrahadani.
Chakre viryani ataparam.
Chakre viryani ataparam. Some of the ladies like to lead us, and I'll respond. Mataji Log, Kulastri. No?
Come on, come back to the screen.
Okay.
Naradevatvam apanaha.
Naradevatam apanaha.
Surakarya chikirshaya.
Surakarya chikirshaya.
Samudra nigrahadini.
Samudra nigrahadani.
Chakre viryani ataha param.
Chakre viryani atah param. One more. Echo hour. Naradevatam apanaha.
Surya karya chikirshaya.
Sura karya chikirshaya.
Surya karya chikirshaya.
Samudra nigrahadani.
Samudra nigrahadani.
Samudra nigrahadani.
Chakraviryani ataparam.
Chakre viryani ataparam. In the 18th incarnation, the Lord appeared as King Rama in order to perform some pleasing work for the demigods. Sura karya chikirshaya. He exhibited superhuman powers by controlling the Indian Ocean and then killing the atheist king Ravana. The atheist king Ravana, who was on the other side of the sea. Okay, and we can go then to the actual purport by Srila Prabhupada. Okay. The personality of Godhead, Sri Rama, assumed the form of a human being and appeared on the earth for the purpose of doing some pleasing work for the demigods or the administrative personalities to maintain the order of the universe. Sometimes great demons and atheists like Ravana and Hiranyakasipu and many others become very famous due to advancing material civilization by the help of material science and other activities with a spirit of challenging the established order of the Lord. For example, the attempt to fly to other planets by material means is a challenge to the established order. The conditions of each and every planet are different, and different classes of human beings are accommodated there for particular purposes mentioned in the codes of the Lord. But puffed up by tiny success and material advancement, sometimes the godless materialists challenge the existence of God. Ravana was one of them, and he wanted to deport ordinary men to the planet of Indra, by material means without consideration of the necessary qualifications. He wanted a staircase to be built up directly, reaching the heavenly planet, so that people might not be required to undergo the routine of pious work necessary to enter that planet. He also wanted to perform other acts against the established rule of the Lord. He even challenged the authority of Sri Ram, the personality of Godhead, and kidnapped his wife Sita. Of course, Lord Ramachandra came to chastise this atheist, answering the prayers and desires of the demigods. He therefore took up the challenge of Ravana, and the complete activity of his subject matter, and the complete activity is the subject matter of the Ramayana. Lord Ramachandra was the personality of Godhead, and he exhibited superhuman activities which no human being, including the materially advanced Ravana, could perform. Ramachandra prepared a royal road on the Indian Ocean with stones that floated on the water. The modern scientists have done research in the area of weightlessness, but it is not possible to bring in weightlessness anywhere and everywhere. Because weightlessness is the creation is the creation of the Lord, by which he can make the gigantic planets float and fly and float in the air. He made the stones even within this earth to be weightless, and prepared a stone bridge on the sea without any supporting pillar. That is the display of the power of God. So very, very nice, simple explanation. And if we have a little bit of contact with Srila Prabhupada and see that he's quite intelligent, quite sober person, quite experienced also. And he studied science. He's been in contact with scientific people and so many discussions with Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj, doctorate in physical organic chemistry from the University of California, and also then from that, so many Nobel laureates and people. So we're going to go ahead with our work and try and arrange something of our topic is Ramayana and world classical literature. But of course, the point is that these different incarnations, we're hearing this, the basically, I wish I knew where it was. I read it in Chaitanya Charitamrita a long time ago. But Prabhupada says that by worship of Mahavishnu, we can realize Shirodakshai Vishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, the Paramatma in every atom, the Paramatma in our hearts, the Paramatma who is the soul of this universe. It's like in the prison, there's one prison warden who's the person that makes it all function. And there are prison guards. So we have Garbhodakshai Vishnu and Shirodakshai Vishnu, two Paramatmas. But then Karanadakshai Vishnu, Mahavishnu, he's actually outside of the material energy. Material energy is permanent, but it's not always manifest. So in a non-manifest state is with him there. When Arjuna went to find the sons of the Brahmanas, newborn babies of the Brahman, who've been taken away by Mahavishnu, he had darshan with Krishna and saw the causal ocean. A great storm was brewing, and Mahavishnu was lying very comfortably on an Antasesha with thousands of fierce hoods. And a great storm, a spiritual storm was brewing in the causal ocean. And there were thousands of columns in the palace, and Sunanda and so many other associates were chanting prayers like that. So I think it's kind of like Shantaras, or Shringa Arti Govindam Adi Purusham, which never ends. It just keeps on going and going and going and going and going and going and going. Shantaras. And it's very satisfying. It's a permanent rasa. So from there, by worship of Mahavishnu, the Lord who is the Lord of the universe, properly, then we're promoted to Vaikuntapati. And then by worshiping him properly, we can go to the Lila avatars like Ram, Nrsimha, Varaha. And And then from there we can go to Mathura. No, it's Dwarka, Mathura. I think Mathura, Dwarka, then Goloka, and on like that. We can go on developing these things. So Ramayan is simple. It's Ram is being presented, as the Lord who comes down from the heavens, and sometimes they present Sita as a Mother Earth, coming up and having these activities and romances. But it's mostly incarnation. He comes to teach us how to act properly and so on. And the actually most of the Ramayana we have is all the conflicts that occur. It seems like, and the actual loving exchanges that occur between Sita and Ram in the forest. I'm not sure how much of that is actually being presented, or the what do you call it? The actual so many years after, before, after, when things were peaceful. And of course, very soon after Ram came back, then Sita was banished, and so Ram engaged in Ashvamedha Yagna for 10,000 years. So basic principle is finish off his material life as soon as possible. And Grihastha ashram is a chance to a license for sense gratification. But if we use it properly in Krishna's service, and we see this is never going to work out. I'm not you're Krishna, you're not my Radha. Okay? I'm not your Radha, you're not my Krishna. Yeah. But we can act properly for purification. And Ramayan teaches us how to do that. Very wonderful book. So any questions or comments about celebrating Ram Navami and these particular pastimes and so on?
Amit had a question in chat. So can you read it, or I can ask?
I will. 1 second here. Chat. I'm going to push something here to get that going. I had to stop sharing probably. Yeah, I'll stop sharing. Stop sharing. There we go. Okay. Chat. You notice that chat is chant without the N. You take out the holy name, start chatting. Those who like to chat are called Chattanoogas. Maharaj, any ideas on what the basis, Maharaj, any ideas on what basis the Britannica dates the Ramayan composition so late? I don't know. If we go to the Britannica, where is it here? Britannica. There it is, right. Okay. See, it has see article history. Let's see what that says. Okay. Modified title of the website. Emily Rodriguez did that on July 11th. The article revised. That's Matt Stephan and Wendy Doninger. She's very famous. Yeah. So they just had a little bit of diacritics and that kind of stuff. Who are the contributors? Okay. So it doesn't give a history here. In the Wikipedia, you can get more information like that. Yeah. But there was one very big archaeologist. Actually, Nitai Gorsunu's father took me to see him. He was a historian there in Lucknow, and we went inside. I met him, and he was complaining. He was saying that historians have fallen into trying to make the study of history a cheap makeover of the physical sciences. And history has to become all these things about observing pottery and coins and all these kind of things, and trying to reconstruct from that. And he didn't like that. And so it's a fact, that history is, based so much on archaeology and different texts and how old they are and things like that. So it's probably a lot of physical evidence, but the question is, because are these people unbiased in their effort, or are they trying to minimize the idea of a more transcendent world? And so we asked them, are they free from being manipulated by desires to gratify the opposite sex and so many things like that? Are they following the four principles? If not, then most likely they're monorosity. They're engaged in some kind of political, social motivation, which are approaching the whole thing like that. And it's a very tedious process. And I was investigating Vastu. I was thinking I could preach in this area. And I can give an introductory, I've done it, I can give an introductory Vastu lecture at the university level and some background. But I was finding exactly the same thing that Prabhupada says, that beyond 2,000 years old, they just start to fall apart. You know, the actual scientific archaeological evidence starts to become very, very difficult to understand. And I can discuss that a little bit more in terms of what the Vastu thing was. But it was there. You know, they admitted that beyond 2,000 years, we're speculating. You know, it seems that, this was happening. Yeah. So I don't know the exact details.
Do you have any follow-up?
Thank you, Maharaj. Well, I mean, it just I will just make a comment that when on a so-called authoritative publication like the Britannica dates so in such a definitive way, seemingly such an important epic like the Ramayana Mahabharata to be clearly not where it is and it occurred in time. Obviously, that it casts doubts in the minds of those who may even be from the tradition, right, from India, and who are believers to begin with. What to say of those in the Western world who have really no idea about Krishna and Ram, and they're not believers. So it's unfortunate. I think you can look at carbon dating. I think I was reading somewhere that the city of Dwarka was carbon dated to 32,000 years ago. Some elements of the city. And Ram's the bridge to Lanka is dated, I don't know, like almost 2 million years ago or something like that. So it's just hard to put dates like that, into perspective. But when you say something like that it occurred possibly 2,500 years ago, I mean, it's laughable. Anyway, that's just my thought on that.
Well, I was in the car. We was Swarup Damodar Maharaj. We went from Los Angeles to Laguna Beach. It's like I think it's about like a 2-hour drive, south there, a temple there. And Bojade was driving. I was in the passenger seat. I was riding shotgun in the passenger seat. And Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj and Dr. Rao, who was in charge of the Dwarka project, was right there with Maharaj. And they were going down to see the temple. And for like the first, 1/3 of the journey, Maharaj was preaching to him nicely, and they were both having a good time about how we should accept these these we shouldn't just blindly follow the system of the West and their datings and their colonial arrogance. And Dr. Rao was politely arguing, and then about the middle third, he started like seriously asking questions and starting to accept, and then finally, in the last third, he was trying to come up with scientific evidence to support the Vedic perspective, so on. So I saw Prabhupada says, scratch any Hindu and you'll find a devotee of Krishna. So I think doesn't require like massive effort. It's coming up with, like we're saying, a little bit knowledgeable. And that's why I like the Britannica, because it's like considered authoritative, and it does seem to be pretty reasonable. Like they do change things. They say evidence before, scholars before believe this, but now evidence is suggesting that, and so, I like it, in that sense. I don't, they seem to mostly be innocent, not really be demons and stuff, And so to understand what their misconceptions are, and like you're saying, then going ahead and trying to find this information. Carbon dating. Yeah.
Maharaj, Sadaput Prabhu and what is Dutkarma Prabhu has done a lot of work on carbon dating in his books. It is incomprehensible for me what they're talking about.
Yeah.
According to their work, this.
Well, one of the basic things, if you look it up there, if you could finish off with this, we can go to Britannica, look up carbon dating. Carbon dating, also called radiocarbon dating, method of age determination that depends upon the decay of nitrogen, the decay to nitrogen of radiocarbon 14. Carbon 14 is continually formed in nature by the interaction of neutrons from nitrogen 14 in the Earth's atmosphere. Neutrons required for this reaction are produced by cosmic rays interacting with the atmosphere. Okay. Radiocarbon present in molecules of atmospheric carbon dioxide enters the biological cycle, absorbed in the plants, it slowly decays. Okay. Once the organism desires, it ceases, has a half-life. Okay. Constant rate. Okay. Some more here. So that's all I have then. Okay. Yeah. But before it said it assumes that the concentration of cosmic rays in the higher atmosphere is constant. If it's not, that means that more carbon 14 is going to be produced. Yeah. If it's less, that means less will be produced. Okay. So when you eat the plants, there's going to be more or less. Yeah. There, because that. And then I saw they revised it sometimes later, and they said, well, now actually we see the sun is going through 17-year cycles. So the production is, and therefore we've had to reevaluate, the dating of things like that. Well, 17-year cycles. What about 170-year cycles? What about 1,700-year cycles? What about? Okay. Well, how do you know? Nobody. There's going to be no visual evidence of this. So the Pharaoh's people saw that there was more cosmic rays in the atmosphere. You can't see it. Anyway, so these are some of the difficulties with their system. Not to be, other thing that really impressed me about Prabhupada was quite ready to accept, that something was wrong or other evidence like that and include it. Yeah. So not at all. As blind faith is actually condemned, we're quite ready to accept evidence and look at it. And if something else comes up, okay. They asked Prabhupada, what do you think of the second coming of Jesus Christ? And Prabhupada said, we're ready. Okay. So new scientific evidence, we're ready to accept. We will stop here. Okay, very much, and it seemed nice to kind of kick off our Ram Navami festival and activities here today. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. So with that, Amit Bhaiya, are the girls available to sing the Nishinga prayer?
Maybe they were kidnapped by Ravana. Help! Ram Lakshman! Ram Lakshman!
Give me 1 minute. Ready?
Namaste Narasingaya. Namaste Narasingaya. Hiranyakashi Purvaksha Shilatankanakaye Ito Nrsinga Parata Nrsinga Ita Nrsinga Parata Nrsinga Yato Yato Yami Tato Nrsinga Yato Yato Yami Tato Nrsinga Dahi Nrsinga Ridahi Nrsinga Vahe Nrsinga Rinahe Nrsinga Narasinga Madhim Sharinam Prapade Narasinga Madhim Sharanam Prapade Savakari Kamalavare Nakamakuta Shinga Nadida Hiranyakashipu Anubringa Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Navakare Kamalavare Nakamabhuta Singha Lalita Hiranyakashipu Tanuvringa Keshavadipna Naradirupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Nrsimhadev 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 Jaya Pranamara 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jai Hare Krishna.
Thank you, ladies. So that concludes this evening's program. Just a quick reminder that we go back to our regular time tomorrow of 8 p.m. So if everyone will go ahead and unmute themselves, we'll recite the Vaishnava Pranam prayer.
कृपासिन्धुभयेव च पतितानां वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः हरे
To everyone.
Hare Krishna.